European scientists discover hair growth loophole that forces your hair follicles to start looking thicker, longer, and fuller immediately, no matter if you haven't seen them growing in years, and no matter if you've tried other hair growth remedies like vitamins, oils, and lasers that haven't worked at all. This new discovery is a godsend for women experiencing thin-looking hair, just like it was for these women, and a godsend for those that just wish their hair would look thicker, fuller, and longer, and even for women who simply wish their hair grew faster than it does now. This new discovery even targets hair follicles that haven't appeared to grow in years, the ones that sit there like peach fuzz and don't seem to grow no matter what you do. And unlike most other hair growth solutions you see online or read about in magazines, triggering this newly identified hair growth loophole is something that any woman can do from the comfort of their own home with just 30 seconds per day. And it has nothing to do with hair growth vitamins, weird lasers, or strange hair oils you may see touted on social media and in the tabloids. Keep watching now to discover exactly what this loophole is, why it works, and how you can start using it right now to push your hair growth engine into overdrive and get back thick, beautiful looking hair like you had in your 20s and 30s while putting an end to the frustrating search for a hair growth solution that actually works. John Palladano is the man who first came across this loophole, and it's all because of two sisters in their 60s with a lifelong sibling hair rivalry who came to him with a strange hair problem. A problem that would lead John to discover this hair growth loophole that he refers to as sleeping follicles. And for the first time ever, John has put together a short presentation to explain this hair growth loophole, and his presentation is going to start in the next 3 seconds. Be sure to stick around until the end because he believes this hair growth loophole is the key to helping women over 40 get back thick, beautiful hair they love.
Hi, my name is John Palladano, and in the next 60 seconds, I'm going to share how an incredible story of two sisters in their 60s led me to discover an at-home hair growth breakthrough that not just allowed these two sisters to grow and keep thick, beautiful hair like they had in their 20s, but is now helping thousands of women around the world pursue their hair growth goals, no matter their hair type, and no matter how thin their hair used to look. This story is near and dear to my heart because these two women have been in my life for decades, and it can even get kind of emotional at times. It all started when the younger sister fell into a deep depression due to her thinning hair that she couldn't fix no matter what she tried, while her older sister from the same exact gene pool somehow managed to grow and keep thick, beautiful hair well past 60 years old without changing her routine at all. Both sisters had identical lifestyles, hair routines, diets, and stress levels. They spoke to dozens of experts who couldn't figure out a reason for the difference in their hair. The younger sister even tried countless hair growth products with no success. And that's when the sisters came to me as a longtime family friend and cosmetic researcher for help. And after hundreds of late nights, countless hours of research, and tons of trial and error, I discovered that the older sister was doing one thing differently with her hair that she didn't even realize she was doing. And once I gave this one thing to the younger sister to try, her thinning stopped, and hair came back as thick and full as it used to be in a matter of months. I consider this the biggest hair growth breakthrough the industry has seen in decades. And that's very important for you watching this, because I believe that this one thing that caused the difference in these sisters' hair is the key reason why so many women struggle to reach their hair goals and find a hair growth solution that actually works. And once women learn what this one simple breakthrough is, they can easily get back hair as thick and full as they had when they were in their 20s and 30s. What these two sisters helped me discover is unlike anything else out there for hair growth. And for some reason, nobody has ever brought it to the public. Because of that, these two sisters want me to share their story with you right now, along with their hair growth breakthrough they helped me discover, because they truly believe it can help millions of women around the world reach their hair goals. I'm going to explain it all in just 1 second and share this breakthrough. But first, let me tell you who I am. Again, my name is John Palladano. Not many people have heard my name, and that's probably because for the past decade, I've been locked away researching how to help women feel and look great without harsh chemicals or expensive, painful procedures. The discoveries and solutions I've made have helped thousands of women worldwide pursue their beauty goals and feel amazing in their own skin. Many of my discoveries have been seen or advertised on major news outlets like NBC, ABC, Fox, CBS, and many more. I say all that just for you to get to know me a little bit better. But what's more important right now is this. 4 years ago, my focus turned to women's hair growth and helping women fight thinning hair and hair loss so that they can get back thick, beautiful hair they love. And in that time, I discovered things about hair growth that most experts don't even know, or at least they don't talk about if they do. Back then, I never had a chance to put this hair growth knowledge into practice due to other projects I was working on. That was until I had an unexpected encounter with these two sisters I mentioned before. An encounter that would lead me to use the 4 full years of research I'd done and make a new discovery that would change the hair growth industry forever. It all started when I got a strange phone call from the younger sister, a longtime family friend of mine. I picked up the phone and my friend, let's call her Barbara, immediately asked me a surprising question. "John, why is my older sister's hair so much thicker than mine?" I was taken aback by this blunt question and also with how upset and frustrated she sounded. This wasn't what I was expecting, and I wasn't even sure I had an answer yet. See, Barbara's around 62 years old, and her older sister, let's call her Alice, is just 3 years older than her. And even though we stay in touch on a regular basis, because of what was going on in the world, I hadn't seen either of them in person for a year or two. And from what I remember, their hair wasn't all that different. They both always had thick, beautiful hair. So I was a little confused, and I needed to know what their hair looked like now. So I asked Barbara to text me a picture of both her and her sister's hair. And when she did, I was very surprised. Although I love her like a sister, I have to say Barbara's hair was thinner than I ever remember it. It was very thin, sparse, and I could clearly see her scalp through the hair she had left, something that I never remembered her having before. I felt terrible for her. She used to have such thick, beautiful hair. What happened, I thought. In the past 3 years or so, something must have changed that caused her to struggle with thinning and hair loss. And if it weren't for seeing her sister's hair, I'd probably have just assumed it was genetics or the regular effects of aging, especially since the problem she was experiencing was fairly common for her age. But when she sent me the picture of Alice's hair, the sister just 3 years older than Barbara, I realized that Barbara's hair problem couldn't just be genetics. Because when I received the picture of her sister from the same exact gene pool, I took a look at the picture and my jaw dropped. Not only was Alice's hair probably 5 times thicker and fuller than Barbara's was, but it was much thicker and fuller than I remember from the last time I saw them. So now I was really confused. Not only did I not have the answer to Barbara's original question, but I realized Alice must have started doing something totally different in the past 3 to 4 years that allowed her to keep her hair looking thick and beautiful while making it look even better than it did from the last time I saw her. I saw exactly what Barbara was saying and why this might make her upset. "I don't know what's happened to me and my hair, John," Barbara asked me. "It's killing me inside and I've tried everything. I just want my hair back just like my sister has." After pouring her heart out to me, I could tell Barbara was in tears on the other side of the phone. Thinning hair is not just a physical problem for women, it can be extremely painful emotionally, and I was determined to help her. Finally, she asked me one more question. "What am I doing wrong, John?" The real question, though, was what was Alice doing differently? So I told Barbara to dial her sister into the call so all 3 of us could talk and try and figure this out. I needed to figure out exactly what Alice was doing differently that could be causing the difference in the sister's hair. When Alice got on the line with us, I started searching for the answer. First, I asked some basic questions about their daily routines, diets, and lifestyle. Both of them had fairly healthy diets that were basically the same. The products they used on their hair were almost identical. They always kept pretty much the same hairstyle. So it couldn't have been that one of the sisters was treating their hair differently. And they both had very similar jobs with 3 children. So their stress levels couldn't have been very different either. It didn't make any sense to me. So as a last resort, I asked Alice to walk me through her entire daily routine, minute by minute, from the time she woke up in the morning until she went to bed at night. And that's when I finally had my answer. When Alice walked me through her routine, one thing stuck out to me that I'll share in just a second. It explained not just why Alice's hair was so much thicker than her younger sister's, but why it was so much thicker than the last time I saw her over a year ago. It was all because even though Alice had no clue she was doing it at the time, one thing she recently started doing was keeping her hair follicles awake and growing while her sisters were asleep and falling out. I know this probably sounds crazy and doesn't make any sense yet, so let me take a step back for just a second. I'll need to quickly tell you about how the hair growth cycle works and what the real root cause of Barbara's problem was so that this all makes sense. See, the hair growth cycle happens in 3 phases. The anagen phase, or the active waking phase, where hair is growing thick, full, and strong. The catagen, or the transitional phase, where the growing stops and hair prepares to move into the final stage. And the telogen phase, or the dormant sleeping phase, where hair rests, sheds, and prepares for the growth of a new hair in the waking phase. Everybody's hair follows the same hair growth cycle, and every hair follicle is independent and goes through the growth cycle at different times. Otherwise, your hair would all fall out at once. Now, in a normal healthy head of hair, about 80 to 100 hairs are shed every day following the resting phase. This is totally normal and a healthy part of the hair growth cycle. But the problem occurs when follicles get stuck in this sleeping state and don't wake up. Because if this happens, hair can thin, fall out, and stop growing back completely. and far more than 100 hairs per day can fall out. I first discovered this when a renowned French scientist named Bruno Bernard released his findings on what may be the real cause of hair loss. It was such a groundbreaking study that it was released on multiple news outlets. I discovered that this is what's actually happening to many women struggling with thinning hair that just won't grow back no matter what they try. And while I had a suspicion that this might be what was causing Barbara's problem, I'd yet to come across a solution for this problem that was available to the public, so I thought she might be out of luck. That was until I discovered the one thing Alice was doing differently for her hair. Because the one thing she was doing, even though she didn't even know it at the time, was the first thing I ever heard that could fix this problem. And it would ultimately allow Barbara and thousands of women around the world to get back thick, beautiful hair they love. See, when I had Alice run me through her routine, one thing stuck out to me that I dove deeper into. Alice had taken a trip to a tiny town in Switzerland about a year ago. While she was there, she popped into a small health food store and something caught her eye. It was a little bottle of liquid that people in the store said was great for protecting hair and keeping it prone from breakage. What this tiny store and Alice didn't know is that this little bottle included a breakthrough hair growth compound that turned out to be the real reason why Alice was able to grow and keep hair so thick and full past 60 years old. When Alice told me about this liquid she used, I stopped her right there. I told her to text me a picture of that bottle and its ingredients. The bottle didn't even have a label with a brand or anything like that. It just had a list of ingredients on the back, most of which were pretty meaningless ingredients, if I'm being honest. But one natural compound stuck out to me that I decided to research deeper. It said Pisum sativum. This rang a bell because in my 4 years of research on hair growth I'd done, I remembered seeing this natural compound mentioned in some random studies, but I'd never actually seen it used in anything in the market. So I pulled up thousands of files from the past 4 years, and I found a study that mentioned this, and that's when I knew I had my answer. It was a clinical study done by a renowned Swiss scientist on this exact ingredient. And if you remember, Switzerland is where Alice took her trip. It was starting to make sense. In the clinical study on this ingredient, there were 20 mainly female volunteers that were struggling with thinning hair just like Barbara was. And they were given a special liquid that included this Pisum sativum ingredient. The volunteers were told to massage it on their scalps twice a day for 3 months. When the results came back, the scientist could hardly believe it. The researchers doing the study found that the compound woke up the women's sleeping hair follicles, leading to significantly increased hair in the awake growing state and dramatically reduced hair in the dormant sleeping phase. This is exactly what was keeping Alice's hair so thick and the reason why Barbara's hair was so thin. She had nothing like Alice did to wake up her sleeping follicles. Because remember, hair that is stuck in the dormant sleeping phase is what's stopping many women from getting back the hair they desire. And this study proved that this compound can solve that problem. I just never seen it actually used by someone before. After I realized this, I needed to get Barbara to try this stuff on her hair. Alice stocked up on this stuff when she was in Switzerland, but she was on her last 3 bottles. Nonetheless, she decided to let her sister use what she had left since it made her own hair so thick already. My guess was that, as I explained before, Barbara's hair follicles were asleep, and the compound in this liquid would wake them up and bring her hair back. And when we put it to the test, my guess was correct, and Barbara was in amazement. When Barbara got it, she immediately took the liquid and massaged a few drops onto her scalp. She said she could feel it flooding her follicles. She then let the liquid sit in her scalp the rest of the day and soak into the follicles. Barbara would walk around with a smile on her face because she was optimistic this would work. And then at night, she did the same thing. She massaged a few drops of the liquid onto her scalp and left them in to let them soak in overnight. She did this twice a day, every day. It only took her about 30 seconds each time. I told Barbara to evaluate her results after 1 month because just a week or so wouldn't be enough time. And after just 1 month of using this stuff, let me tell you, Barbara's hair was coming back in full force. When we got on FaceTime and she snapped me pictures, I could see baby hairs coming back all over her scalp. The existing hair she had was coming back thicker and fuller than Barbara said she'd seen in years. She mentioned she didn't see any more hair in her brush or in the shower drain. Her thinning was slowing and her hair was coming back. Barbara could hardly believe it was working. My guess, though, was that she'd be even more amazed after 3 months of using this stuff. Because in the study on this compound, the users saw even more amazing results after 3 to 6 months. So Barbara kept doing her morning and night routine with this liquid for a total of 3 months. And by the end of the 3rd month is when her hair and life really changed. By the time 90 days were up, Barbara's hair was back at a point she was truly happy with, and it looked just like her sister's again. Even her hairstylist asked what she was using, and now she's using it too. It was truly incredible to see how well this stuff worked. Barbara was beyond happy with her results and couldn't wait to keep using the liquid to see just how good she could get her hair to look, because the longer she used it, the thicker and fuller her hair got. Except there was one big problem. Alice didn't have any more bottles of this liquid left. She got them in a tiny health food store in Switzerland, and the bottle didn't even have a label on it. And even though her hair was looking amazing at this point, Barbara wanted to keep using this stuff to make her hair look even better. Not to mention, Alice was a little ticked off she had none left for herself now. So I thought to myself, although this was a huge problem, it was also a massive opportunity. This was the first thing I'd ever seen in person that could wake up sleeping follicles, a problem that so many women were experiencing just like Barbara was. And if I could figure out how to get the key ingredient of this stuff to Alice and Barbara to use for as long as they wanted, I'd be able to help others do the same. So I started researching. First, I remembered that clinical study I'd found on this key ingredient, Pisum sativum. And I remembered that because of this study and this incredible ingredient, the scientist had developed a cutting-edge compound specifically for hair. It's called Anagain, based on this Pisum sativum, a very specific form of organic pea sprout extract. And in a study on this compound, the women were raving. That's because 95% of women in the study noticed a reduction in thinning hair and an improvement in their hair's condition, while over 80% noticed hair regrowth. And this all happened with just 2 applications a day for 3 months. I needed to get my hands on this stuff, except I'd never seen the compound he developed on the market at all. I didn't see it in any other solutions out there. And as a researcher, I stay up to date on pretty much everything there is. It wasn't the type of thing that they sell on shelves in stores. It turned out that it was pretty much impossible for the regular consumer to get their hands on it. But I wasn't going to take no for an answer. So I made some calls to longtime connections in the industry, scientists, chemists, manufacturers, and finally I found the answer I needed. A good friend of mine who'd been in the industry for decades had a direct line to the scientist company who did this study and developed this natural compound. And he said he could probably get me a small batch of it. I was ecstatic and told him to get me as much as he could. But I also asked him for something else. See, I knew this ingredient was incredible for hair growth, as I saw with both Barbara and Alice. But in my years of hair growth research, I came across several other compounds that could help wake up sleeping follicles and give follicles all the nutrients they need to reach their fullest potential. Just like the first compound, though, I'd never seen most of them on the market. They were extremely difficult to get. But since I was already working hard to get this one, I thought I might as well take the extra time to find these and create something truly incredible. So I told my friend to add 5 other powerful ingredients to the formula I'd be creating for the sisters. Then I'd give it to Barbara and test against the liquid she was using before. And after countless late nights trying to get this formula made, I finally had a sample batch that I could test. I immediately drove it over to Barbara's house and told her to try it. She did the same thing as before. She massaged it on her scalp twice a day. And let me tell you, this formula worked even better than the stuff Alice found in Switzerland. With just 90 days more of using this stuff, Barbara's hair was back thicker and fuller than it's ever been before. And Alice? Her hair was already incredibly thick, but this new formula made it even thicker. This just proved that not only does this formula work, but it works even better the longer it's used. After seeing how well this worked for the sisters, and knowing that one key cause of thinning hair for so many women is going unaddressed in the market, the 2 sisters and I wanted to make this cutting-edge formula I made for them available to women across the nation. The formula includes the incredible ingredient Alice found in Switzerland that saved her sister's hair, along with 5 other powerful ingredients that can help wake up follicles and help hair reach its fullest potential. We called this groundbreaking formula Foliboost Hair Growth Serum. Let me tell you directly from someone who's been monitoring the hair growth industry for years. For women that want to finally win the battle against thinning hair, kickstart hair growth, and get thick, beautiful, luscious hair they love, Foliboost Hair Growth Serum is the solution. It's the only serum in the world, to my knowledge, designed specifically to wake up sleeping follicles. And when I formulated this stuff, I partnered with an amazing little company called Trico Labs to help me produce it in quantity, so that I could get this breakthrough into the hands of as many women as possible. Because this serum simply works, like it did for these 2 sisters. So well, in fact, that I believe you'll see a difference within the first couple of months. No matter the state your hair is currently in, no matter how long it's been thinning, and no matter the type of hair it is, this stuff can work for anybody. I believe after just a couple months of using the serum, women will start asking, what do you do for your hair? That's what happened for these sisters, at least. And when you tell people how simple it is, they probably won't even believe it, because the only instructions to use this breakthrough are to just take a few drops of the serum, massage them into your scalp twice a day, and let it do its work. And if you're wondering, no, it doesn't leave hair feeling sticky, oily, or goopy. In fact, it smells amazing and usually leaves women's hair feeling better from the very first use. And now, I've got amazing news for you. Because you've proven you're committed to fighting thinning hair and getting back the thick, beautiful hair you desire by watching this presentation until now, the Trico Labs team and I have decided to reserve the next batch for listeners of this presentation. But I recommend acting fast before they're out of stock, because since Follow Boost Hair Growth Serum is so powerful and effective without harsh chemicals or expensive procedures, word has already gotten out, and women across the nation are already discovering this incredible breakthrough for themselves. And according to the team that manages the orders, most women are ordering 6 or more bottles at a time. They're doing this because they don't just want their hair to come back just a little bit. They want to keep their follicles thriving and active month after month. And this actually makes sense because the studies done on the key ingredients of the serum basically say the longer you use them, the better results you'll most likely see. Just like Barbara did and just like Alice did. But of course, with so many women choosing to order multiple bottles of the serum at a time and word getting out like wildfire, this often means that demand is higher than the supply we have. Because if you remember, when I was able to first get my hands on the key ingredient, I was only able to get a small batch. It was insanely difficult to get my hands on it. So I expect this batch will go pretty fast, and I'd hate for that to happen. Because if it does, women can then be forced to wait up to 3 months until the next batch is produced. And I want every woman across the country that wants thick, beautiful hair to be able to get their hands on this stuff. So as long as you don't see out of stock anywhere on the next page, you're in luck. And there's more great news. The more Follow Boost Hair Growth Serum you decide to invest in right now, the more you save. You see, while Follow Boost Hair Growth Serum has a suggested retail price of $80, which is an absolute steal in its own right, on this website only, you'll be able to order a full 6-month supply for just $24 per bottle. Plus, the team at Trico Labs agreed to provide a discount on a 1-month or 3-month supply, too. It's not quite as big as that 6-bottle discount, but it's still quite a savings. And on top of that, the team is going to pay your shipping when you order today as well, as long as you're in the US, which means you don't pay anything for delivery. And by the way, I know how annoying it can be to order something online only to be hit with auto ship and be charged monthly without your permission. I've made sure you won't be charged again unless you specifically make another order. In other words, this is not one of those auto ship offers. I recommend acting fast. This batch will be gone in no time, and when you order, you'll get it in just 5 to 7 business days. And on top of all this, there is no risk when you order now because there is a 180-day money-back guarantee. I'm so confident in this formula that if you promise to give it an honest shot and use it twice a day for at least a couple of months, and you're not happy with the results you're seeing, or not happy at all for any reason for that matter, then I've got the team at Trico Labs to promise to offer you a full, prompt refund at any point within your first 180 days of using Follow Boost Hair Growth Serum. That's a full 6 months. All you need to do is send back the bottles, full or totally empty, and you'll get 100% of your money back. Simply put, you only pay if you're totally convinced it works for you. Does all of this sound good? Click the link now and navigate to the next page where you'll be able to choose from 6-month, 3-month, and 1-month options. Just click on the package you want, it'll be added to your cart, and you'll be taken to a checkout page to complete your order. You risk nothing by trying Follow Boost Hair Growth Serum today, and I'm so happy you'll have the chance to try it before it's gone. Once again, shipping is totally free, there is no auto ship automatic billing subscription, and you're covered by a no questions asked 180-day money back guarantee. So even at the end of your 6-month supply, you'll be able to get a full refund if you're not thrilled with your new hair. So just click the link now and navigate to the next page and choose the package you want. Now you too can have your thick, beautiful, youthful hair back and become the envy of your friends for the cost of a cheap dinner. I can't wait to hear your success story too. Click the link now.